So in this video, I want to review commas 1 and 2. We've gone over 4 rules that we use with commas, and I want to make sure we have these down pat before we move on. So here we have our vocabulary. These are the words that we have been using to talk about commas, and it is important that you know what each of these words mean so that you can understand what we're talking about when we are discussing our comma rules. So, series is more than two nouns put together in a sentence. And so, when we have commas in a series, that is what we are referring to. More than two nouns put together in the same sentence. An independent clause is a group of words that has a subject and a verb, and it can stand alone as a full sentence. So that means that it expresses a full idea and it doesn't start with a subordinating conjunction. Dependent clauses, on the other hand, are a group of words that cannot stand alone as a full sentence. And these are groups of words that often start with our subordinating conjunctions. Interjection is a word that expresses emotion interjected into the front of the sentence. So words like ow, wow, oh no. Conjunction is a word that joins clauses or groups of words, and so we use a comma and a conjunction in a compound sentence, which is our next word here. And a compound sentence is a sentence containing two independent clauses, so two groups of words that could stand alone as a full sentence, and we join them with a comma and a conjunction. Another word I mentioned is a subordinating conjunction. And so a subordinating conjunction, when we add that to the beginning of a clause, it turns a independent clause, Samuel wore red shoes, into a dependent clause, while Samuel wore red shoes, which doesn't express a full idea, which makes it a dependent clause. Here we've got a little bit of our subordinate conjunctions: after, although, as far as soon as if, as though, because, before, even if, even though, except. And there's many of them, and what we really look for is, are they making that first clause a dependent clause? Is that making it not a full idea? And you can kind of ask yourself, like, would it be, you know, are we given all of the information? Is it a full, complete idea? So here, once is our subordinating conjunction. Once the school day is over. So that turns the school day is over into once the school day is over, which is not a full idea. Even though is a subordinating conjunction because it turns the zoo was closed, which is an independent clause, into a dependent clause, even though the zoo was closed, which leaves us with questions about what the idea is in that sentence. And last, we've got before social studies. So before is our subordinating conjunction. So we went over our vocabulary. So now I want to talk about the comma rules that we've been working on. So the first rule that we started with is when three or more items are listed in a series and separating each item with a comma. The next rule is when using an interjection, one of those words that is interjected into the front of a sentence, shows emotion. We always follow it with a punctuation mark, and that can be a comma or an exclamation point. Our third rule we have is about compound sentences. And so compound sentences, where we have two independent clauses, two groups of words that could be full sentences, we need a comma and a fanboys conjunction. For, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. Any of those words. And the last rule we have here is when a sentence starts with a subordinating conjunction. We need a comma to separate that first clause from the main independent clause. So we're going to look at some examples of each of these rules. So for our rule 1, our items in a series, here we've got I have soccer practice this Thursday, comma, Friday, comma, and Saturday. The baker makes sourdough bread, comma, rye bread, comma, garlic bread, comma, and cinnamon bread. Miss Piggy, comma, Kermit, comma, and Beaker are all Muppets. And then we walked outside with our teachers, comma, a cat, comma, and a magician. And this is an example of why I always use the third comma, the Oxford comma at the end. Because if we took away the comma between a cat and a magician, that would make it seem like your teachers are a cat and a magician. Whereas when we have a comma here, we're walking outside with our teachers, with a cat, and with a magician. So that is one of the examples of how it can add clarity to your sentence and make it really clear as to what you mean and avoid any confusion. For our second rule, we've got some examples here of interjections with commas after them. Ouch, comma, my foot got caught. Wow, comma, my grades went up by a lot. Aw, comma, your dog is so cute. Gross, comma, please do not do that. For our third rule, which is about our compound sentences, we're looking for two independent clauses, and we join them with a comma and a conjunction. I ate the whole pizza, comma, so there is none left. I ate the whole pizza could be a full sentence. There is none left could be a full sentence. So we've got a comma and a conjunction. The school day starts, comma, and the students begin working. The dishes are clean, comma, but they are not put away. It is raining, comma, so we will not go outside. And then our final rule about subordinating conjunctions. While Samuel wore red shoes, comma, Jacob wore black shoes. And so Jacob wore black shoes is our main independent clause. Here, I will go to the ice cream shop is our main independent clause, and it's once is our subordinating conjunction. Once the school day is over, comma, I will go to the ice cream shop. Even though the zoo was closed, comma, the students snuck into the gorilla enclosure. Before social studies, comma, you should charge your device. Now, I'm actually realizing that this is a bad example because technically this is actually a preposition. It's talking about when in time you should charge your device. So before is a subordinating conjunction, but the way that I've used it here, I've used it as a preposition, so that's a bad example. So, in summary, we've got our 4 rules. We really want to practice these and hammer these in. So, here I've got them all listed out for you. And I'd like you to practice using them on the Google form that is on your remote English slides. I'd suggest you use this slides presentation to help you. You can find that slides presentation linked in with the notes. You can also find it on the Google form, right, the very first link on the Google form. So if you have any questions, you can email me, you can leave a private comment, you can come to my office hours, or you can sign up for a time to meet with me on Wednesday. All right, bye.